So it's very, very late.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
We have just had screening of Sagittarius.
Woo!
Hey, well remembered. Thank God you didn't say Libra.
I am a Libra. No.
Deadly Display.
What's that? Woo!
So thank you very much for staying so late. Let's begin with Sagittarius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So for those of you that are not aware, talk to us about the origins of Sagittarius and the difference between what they might have seen before and what they're seeing now.
Yeah, so Sagittarius that you've seen tonight came from an anthology film created by Myco Entertainment, who do Slasher House and various others. And MJ Dixon came up with the idea of using horoscopes for horror scopes. So got 12 directors, gave them all a star sign, and the way the picking happened, I got Sagittarius. So, being an anthology feature film, he said it needs to be 7 minutes long. We started at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 31st of July, and we finished at 4 o'clock in the morning on the 1st of August. We had 75 minutes of footage, and the first edit got down to 15 minutes. And that's what you saw tonight. Maybe tweaked slightly shorter than 15. But to give 7 minutes to him, we had to cut an awful lot out. So basically what you've seen tonight is the version that I prefer, the longer version. It tells the story better. What you may have seen in the anthology film is basically that, but a lot shorter. So that's Horoscopes 1, where I managed to get selected to do Sagittarius, needing to try to put in my head a centaur on screen. Horoscopes 2 is happening, and I've got and that's Chinese years, and I've got the Year of the Horse.
Oh.
There's a theme developing, and I do not want to do another horse film at all. But that's basically where it came from. But that's my preferred version because I think it tells the story better.
Yeah, and it looks great. So
yeah.
I am going to move on to Deadly Display in a minute. But let's quickly talk about how you gathered your cast.
So my cast, I came up with the story quite quickly. And I won't mention the first name, but I actually wrote it with a particular lead female actor in mind. She unfortunately had to pull out, so therefore I replaced her with Charlie Bond, which is why Charlie Bond's name appears in the credits. Unfortunately, Charlie went to the Reading Festival, and the day before we were going to shoot, contacted me to say, think I've got COVID. It's a little thing. You may have heard about COVID.
What is COVID, Martin?
Like, so therefore, it's a bit of a panic of we needed to replace the lead female, 1 day's notice. Charlie suggested Stacey, who was fortunately free, came along, did an excellent job, and was exactly the person that I wanted to see on screen. Charlie would have been as well, but you get who you get. In terms of the others, Peter Tilley,
yes,
I wanted to make sure...
We love Peter!
We got him something in there, and boy, his performance actually surprised me. As soon as he started, I just went, I don't know where this is coming from.
Man, he's so
Let's go with it. I wanted a Judi Dench character, and therefore who else other than Pauline to play that head of this secret organisation that no one knows exists that's out to get Sagittarius. And she came along, she did superbly. Timon, who was the guy in the stocks, Peter said, "Oh yeah, got to get him in because I think he's good." He didn't have much to say. So yeah, and actually going back to the origin as well, there's another genre film festival in Southend called Horror on Sea, something like that. And there they have a masterclass. Pat Higgins does a sort of masterclass every year, and he had challenged us, and someone mentioned this either early today or yesterday, to come up with an idea based on what we had available. And I suggested at that time, I'd really like to do a criminal mastermind in the form of James Hayman Morton, perhaps having a base in a pub. Oh, I happen to have access to a pub. So really, the origin was from Horror on the Sea. Maiko came along and gave me the opportunity to say, yeah, I can come up with a story, and I've got the right people that I know and the right location. And it just falls into place. Sometimes lightning strikes.
What sort of budget did you have?
Budget? This is independent filmmaking. I think it cost around about 1,500, $2,000, in order to get people transported to places. And I'm ignoring what Steve is just saying.
Christine, you bloke.
$1 million to me, that's a lot of money.
And yeah, it was just a case of making sure everything gets sorted out. But you know, that's what you get away with.
Okay, so what I didn't do right at the start is get everybody to introduce themselves. That's because it's very late.
Yeah.
So,
I'm Martin Payne. I did Sagittarius.
That's Martin Payne. Let's move on to our next director, Mr. Stephen Sibley. Introduce the little gathering you brought us here, please.
This is Annabella. She played Tess. Yeah, I always get mixed up. Yeah.
I did nothing.
Yeah,
I did nothing.
He did nothing. Sam Mason Bell, who shot and co-edited with us, spot on job, and Keeley, who played Deborah. I remembered.
You did.
I remembered everybody.
So Tess or Jess?
Tess and Jess.
Tess or Jess?
So Stephen, talk origins.
Origins. Well, originally, I filmed a version of this in 2015 called Clarity. The whole thing is based on an Italian film called House of Yellow Carpet, 1983. And I liked the build-up of the twist, but I thought, like, with House of Yellow Carpet, I could have done with another variation, so I'd done it originally with Clarity. And then in 2020, I met Sam at Horror on Sea, and I gave him Clarity, he really liked it. And then I asked him, would you want to do another version? And then, obviously, COVID happened. And then we kept in touch, obviously wrote it for Bella in mind. And then, yeah, it came from there, really. It took us like 3 weeks to write it. And then we started rehearsing, getting all that stuff, yeah. And then we got it done in 5 days. Yeah. So basically, I kind of like didn't want to repeat what I did in Clarity by making it more of a giallo. I wanted to try and, again, strip it back to make it more like a British drama rather than going that route. Because I thought there's no point in repeating myself if I've done it once.
So you said you shot it in 5 days.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite recent, isn't it?
Yeah, we started January the 2nd, basically, wasn't it? January the 2nd and January the 6th. So it was like straight after New Year, basically I was staying at Sam's, we had New Year together, rock and roll, and then straight from that went straight into that and done it.
We did.
Yeah.
I think I saw you at Horror on Sea and you said to me something like, what's the deadline for the and I kind of feel like you galloped to make the deadline.
Yeah, we did, we were pushing it, you know what I mean? Cause we had obviously music and getting a cut. Yeah, it was just a blast to get it done that quick. And it feels mad to be here now, just having it done, world premiere, and wow, it looks awesome on screen.
Looks beautiful. Especially as you know, from the start, those intros are amazing, really capturing some sort of 80s vibes.
That's the thing. I wanted to try and make it so it wasn't kind of like, that's why I didn't have a way to sum it up as a synopsis, because how would you sum it up without giving anything away? So it's like kind of like one of the films, you're best off going in blind, because hopefully you don't know what direction it's going to go. You think it's going to go in one direction, then it switches, then goes to another direction, then another character comes in, and it's its own thing. In that sense, hopefully, that was the intention.
Quite a lot of weight on you, Annabella, isn't there, in this film?
Maybe?
In terms of, the delivery, because you're pretty much on screen almost constantly throughout.
Honestly, Tess is one of my favourite characters I've played, and 5 days to get her down like that was insane, but it was amazing at the same time. Tess is the closest character to who I am as a person, so to see her go through all that horrible stuff in the space of 80 minutes was hard, but she was incredibly enjoyable, and there was moments where I was like, oh God, okay, yeah, we're going to do this. Okay, I've got one shot to get this right. And this is the first time I've seen it. This is one of the only films I've opted to not see before a premiere. So it was incredibly insane to see for the first time. I've had a few bottles of wine, so I hope that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Thank
You're
you.
fine. You're absolutely fine. It's a shame Sai's not here, because I would ask
Oh God,
him,
we love Sai. He's amazing.
Oh,
Yes.
I'd have to ask him about what it was like to spend a quarter of the film laying down.
He plays a good dead body and a really good psycho. And he's great off screen as well. He's like, do you want a Twix? You're like, yes, please.
But that is the thing with this film, is it's the volume of time that characters are on the screen without not always necessarily doing anything. They're there.
Yeah.
They're visually there. And I thought that was something that was quite interesting about what you've done here. So, Sam, talk to us a little bit about the work that you were doing, and how. Talk about the discussions you had in the planning with Stephen, and the look and everything like that.
Well, Steve came to one of our film festivals in Portsmouth, and he loved the Wedge Rooms and insisted that was going to be the venue.
Yeah, man.
Which was, relatively easy to get together, which was nice. And the great thing with the Wedge Rooms, as you can see, is there's a lot of space. It's a 450 cap venue. So you find all those little corners and those little strange areas. And a lot with the cinematography, it was about that invasiveness. There's one shot in particular I really love where the first time we meet Sai, and it's in the little window. And I just saw that and I just thought, fuck it, let's shoot in that little window. It just looks so much nicer. And Steve gave me that kind of flexibility. He was like, I'll work with the actors. You just shoot the shit out of it. Which fortunately I had the opportunity just to run around, rearrange the lighting, and just get all those little areas to make a really tense, uncomfortable chamber piece. So yeah, it was a pleasure in that regard. So we're producing it. We produced it together. He really wanted Sai in after doing Tom Lee Rutter's film for Video Shop Tales of Terror. You loved him in that, and you're like, he's the only guy for it.
Yeah, man.
And then we discussed about getting Bella involved, and I worked with Keeley on Gav Irvine's recent film. So yeah, the cast just came together so quickly, and then it all just...
Yeah, and then we brought
Just
Sonny in.
worked
He's
quite
went Sonny, but Sonny
Sonny
came in.
was
Sonny
greedy,
nailed it, you know what I mean? That kind
We
of
love
role,
Sonny.
he's really put it down to the T.
It's nice just to have that little small cast tension piece. So yeah, like you said, Bella is the main focus on the screen for the whole time, but she's already proven she can do that constantly. So it was nice. It was nice to give you a different character to do that.
I love Tess.
Keeley, talk to us about when you came in, and for those of you that have been at the festival before, you may remember Keeley from another film we showed three or 4 years ago. The Witch Hunters Are Coming.
Oh, you remember?
Elephants never forget. So talk to us about when you came in, and how you tackled the character, and how much involvement you had in the look and style.
Yeah, I was literally just expecting to get just a few lines in this film, and then when I saw that it's really high emotion, straight away, I was just like, my God, am I going to be able to pull this off? Like, because, you know, I didn't have any scenes prior to this scene in the film, so you almost have to like come straight in and basically be hysterical. It was hard, but you know, you just have to draw, don't you? Bring it forward. There was a bit of difficulty in some of it when we were like doing our fight scene, well, just before the fight scene, and then the ice machine started to go off in the bar. And I was just like, oh my God, does it have to be like now? Like, really? So we had to sort of like stop and then start again. But yeah, I think the chemistry between us was really good.
Yeah, we had a great chemistry, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it changed the entire intention of that last scene where we were like on top of each other, like crying, weren't we? And it was like a proper woman to woman moment. And like that was never the intention of the final scene, but like that chemistry was so intense between us where we were so sad for one another.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Like I've not cried like that in a long time on set. We just sat on top of each other, oh my God, like, oh, I'm sorry. It was great.
We hadn't met each other before that.
No.
Really, so it's like, yeah. Good.
When did the eye patch come in?
Well, it was with the key thing once because I don't know many. I think anybody's in Clarity really, but in Clarity, the guy uses a pair of scissors up the leg, and I didn't want to do the scissors thing again. And I was sitting writing it on the floor, sitting on my thingy, and I was like, I see my keys, and I thought, oh, a key would be nice. And I thought, the eye, that's the best place to put a key is in the eye. You know what I mean? And then I thought, well, if she's got the eye patch, it signifies to the audience that that's maybe the wife that he's been talking about all the time, that he's done it, or she's not dead, she's alive. So hopefully that came across when she came in with the eye patch. So it was really to give the audience that indication that the wife's alive and he's been lying all this time, and he's been playing this mind game with Tess all the time.
And where the hell did you get that ridiculous looking key?
Oh, you got it made.
It looks,
I got it made.
it's huge, wasn't it? It's
Yes. It was next to my eye.
For a brief second.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Yes, I went to the thing in Asda, know where you get your keys cut. I went to one in Sunderland and the guy wouldn't cut a chart unless he'd done a canny blunt, and I left the key in that in Sunderland. I left it in Sunderland, so I thought I'm going to have to go to Portsmouth. I went to Portsmouth and the guy's, oh, can I have a sharp one? He's like, yeah, no problem. And I was like, wow, that's sharp. You know what I mean? So yeah, I got my wig, I got my sharp key.
It's just, I mean, I'm quite open about this. This is the first time I've seen the film. I said to you.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
I wanted to see this here.
Thank you.
So, yeah, the key was a real surprise to me when I saw that come out. Because at first I thought it was a camera thing, and then suddenly there's just this enormous knife of a key.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, so that's brilliant. Have we got some questions out there?
Oh, that's cool.
That's quiet, right?
Yeah, quiet. It's fine. We can come back. So
There's one.
Go on.
Oh no, there's
Yeah, but he doesn't count.
no, neither of us count. They're not even audience members.
I've got a question for the director.
Uh-oh. Yo.
Where did the inspiration for the key scene come from? What led to the key? Why the key as a weapon?
Yeah, why the key?
Like I say, it was kind of like I was sitting at the because I've got like a little bench where I do my typing, and literally I was looking for someone who could use as a weapon, and literally my keys were sitting there. I thought, yeah, that'll go on. Definitely, like I say, that'll go in someone's eye. That'll kill someone if I push further enough. So yeah, I went with the key. I was thinking of glass maybe, but then glass would have been a lot more dangerous. Well, I wasn't expecting, like I say, the key to be that sharp or look that sharp, you know what I mean?
Good.
Yeah, it looked legit. Yeah, but I thought a key would be something different because you never really see keys used as a weapon. And usually when people go out and they're going to think, oh, if I'm going to get attacked, usually people keep a pair of keys in the pocket.
It's a very feminine attack weapon.
Yeah.
Like
so,
we're taught to use the key if you're like in a poor situation. You grab your keys out and you use them.
Yeah.
Which is quite sad about the scene you wrote with Tess, where she holds her keys up and he's like, "What are you going to do with that?"
Yeah, what are you going to do with that? You know
and
what I mean?
that's kind of the reality of it, which is very sad for females.
Yeah, and I was looking enough to have a key that looked like it was going to do the damage.
That was a horrible
Yeah, it would have
key.
been glass, but like I say, glass would have been too dangerous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to keep it as safe as possible. Thank you. No, thank you.
We've got another question in the same area.
Who's it?
There goes your wine.
That was
That
the
is
question.
my wine. I can see that. That's mine.
I hope no one uses that as a weapon.
Hi, Mr. Rich. Who's this going to? Is this Mr. Rich?
Yep.
This is Mrs. Rich.
No, I was just going to say
Uh-huh.
the all the emotions and everything,
Mhm.
all of the characters, was just amazing.
Oh wow.
And what I did like
Uh-huh.
was I suppose after the rape scene,
Oh okay.
that from the rape scene to get into that anger and hate, and you can sort of feel that. You know, the whole thing was amazing.
Thank you.
Steve, is it the psycho?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Steve is just...
Yeah.
That's me. Steve's a psycho,
I think I'll be dreaming about it tonight, and that won't be
Now,
guys.
that's what I enjoyed about Tess. Steve gave me a bit of free reign with her, and I absolutely hate you. Watch these women in horror films, and like, oh my god, this terrible things happen to me. Us women are not like that. We are like, fuck you! We're gonna come beat you with a big metal stick. That is the reality of us.
Yeah.
We are feisty and we are strong. So I love the fact that Steve gave me this free reign. Yes, thank you to the woman who is completely unrelated to me in any way. But yes, that's what I love with this project.
It's like the post horror films that they are just they're wishy-washy.
Yes.
You watch something and you go, oh my god, it's like a vampire hunter. They do it at night.
Yeah.
Someone in that.
Thank you, lady who's completely unrelated to me. Thank you. Definitely not my mother. Oh, there's another. Oh wow, is this two of?
Actually, guys,
Uh-huh.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
I thought you were all brilliant. I thought you were
Wonderful.
great. Just one question.
Uh-huh.
When's the sequel coming out?
That's a very rude question.
Why would you need a sequel? The narrative is closed.
I'd like a sequel.
I would like a sequel as well.
Do a sequel.
Let's see what happens to Tess.
Yeah.
Does she go?
She got arrested. She went to prison. Right?
She did not go to prison. She was done for manslaughter and it was 6 months. She was fine.
Yeah.
Big fucker.
I would love a sequel, is to answer your question. I know I'm just an actress,
Doesn't
but
make any sense though, does it?
we ignore the
No,
cinematographer.
like,
It's just a
this all could have been a
cinematographer.
dream, you know what I mean?
Director, what do we think?
Jesus
Christ, if it was all a dream, that's the worst ending ever.
Oh my god.
We'll see.
Just a quick point though.
Uh-huh.
5 days, limited time, emotion.
Oh god.
How much time did getting in the zone take?
Or is this to me?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
actually,
it's
it
independent
takes-
film. Like, you learn to snap it on in the space of 5 seconds. You're like, oh my god, let's put myself in the worst place I've ever been mentally, and let's just walk into it and like think about everybody dying around me, and then we're just gonna cry for 5 minutes and hope for the best.
And then
That was that.
instantly after, someone comes up to you and says, "Do you want a Twix?"
Oh, literally that. They're like, do you want Twix with a coffee? You're like, yeah, okay, that was great, thank you. And then you just hope for the best. That's independent film, but we love it, and that's one of the reasons why we love it.
But still,
Yeah.
on a serious note, you know, I understand what you're saying. You just switch it on, but actually, you're switching it on for quite a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, so if we're being like honest on it, like a lot of the situations you walk into and you have about 2 minutes preparation and you're like, okay, let's use a tear stick. Let's get in a really bad place for a bit. But like with films like this, you like really put your heart and soul into them. So you're like, it's cool. I'm going to be extremely depressed for 7 days afterwards, and then like take 7 days off work and then go back to it and be like, hi guys. That's the part of independent film, but that's the bits you love because you're like, okay, it's therapeutic, it's fun, and you put like the worst parts of you forward, and then like you watch something like this and you're like, you know what, that came across like how I wanted it to. Or like, even if you're like, no, that didn't come across like how I wanted it to, you're like, that was the rawest part of me. That was the part where those tears are real and like that moment's real. And although the situation isn't real, it's been a horrific time in my life that's real, and then it's come across in that situation. And that's the fun of acting, and I guess that's why we keep doing it, because like we just apparently love hurting ourselves emotionally and like physically. And obviously for the art. Much love. I'm sorry, I've had 3 glasses of wine. I say 3 glasses, 3 bottles.
I'm going to stick with our actors, actresses.
Yes.
People who perform.
Yes.
Singing.
Yes.
Or not singing. How does that sit with you in the world of acting? I mean, you have 2 slightly different singing roles. So I would hazard a guess. I'm very sorry if I'm insulting you, but
No,
I
you
would
go
hazard
for it.
a guess that in the first
I'm
scene
fixing
you
the
might
microphone.
not be singing.
Well.
How is that to do to?
Well, I would like to say I'm very upset about that first scene, in a great way and a sad way as well. I am a professionally trained singer. I love singing. I sing very often. We couldn't like massively get the rights and the backing track to it, so I was miming it to the original singer, who was absolutely fabulous. But like, I did not do like 8 years of musical theatre to mime someone, but at the same time, I did. Like, it was great. It was so much fun. Why do you think I'm going? Oh, the love. It was so much fun, to be entirely honest. But yes, that is the thing behind it. I'm still a little bit sour about it, but not in a bad way.
But is it kind of like, when you're doing it, is it kind of like awkward because you know the end result?
Because she's so good. She does it originally, you'll see how good she is.
No bias. No
It's
bias.
bias. That's not bias at all.
No.
The reality was I was a terrible singer, and that's why they pretended that they couldn't get the rights to it.
That's the truth.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's just a load of fun, to be honest. Like, I've never done a music video before, and that was basically a music video. They're like, we're going to do a music video. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. One day I hope we can dub it, like,
Yeah, it would be
and
nice
then
to do that.
everyone in this audience will be like, oh my god, this girl can sing. Like, what the hell did they allow? Like, oh my god. And I'll be suddenly going, yes, 8 years training for this terrible moment. But we'll see. Thank you for the support, by the way. I expect it.
And Keeley, you got the other end, and how was that?
Yeah, so I don't think I was meant to actually sing. I think it was just like I was meant to say it as a poem or something. But when I was doing my prep at home, you know, practicing on the floor with a pillow, pretending it's a dead person.
Did you practice with a pillow, Keeley? Did you actually? I love that.
Getting into character, yeah. So then the song came up, and I asked Steve, and he was like, yeah, I really like it, do that. So that's how that happened.
Okay, so we've got 2 films here. So I'm going to ask both of you, what was the tricky... So when I say both of you, both films, starting with Steve, moving down, what was for you the worst part of the film to shoot?
Ooh.
Oh, fuck.
Think about it.
Any problems that arose that you weren't expecting?
It's
Anything
independent
that
film,
changed?
the whole thing.
Do you want me to go first?
Anything that took a lot longer than you
tomato.
expected? Anything, you know?
No, I think the only thing I could have done is just more time, like an extra couple hours on an extra day. Because I think when we got the last day when we were doing the finale, we kind of like, there was certain shots I wanted, like close-ups and cutaways, but we just ran out of time, so we're limited. I think that's the only thing. But apart from that, there was nothing else I would change really, apart from having more close-ups. I mean, performance levels, spot on, camera work, spot on. So the only thing I would change is just having a bit more time.
More crew would have been
More
nice.
crew, because literally it was like, for the first two days it was
did
just me and
this
Sam.
on, like,
I was doing the sound, he was doing the
£700.
camera, so it was like, and then then Chris came along to do the,
I love you.
and then we got someone to do the boom, Ella, and then it's really helpful that way, but yeah, more crew and more time. But I think that's the story of every film, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, the plus side of not having much crew is that you don't have to have an end credit sequence like Morris meant earlier.
To be fair, that credit
that's
sequence we had was too slow anyway.
Yes, it was too slow.
So, Annabella, what was for you? What was the worst or the most challenging part of the shoot?
Ooh. On the emotional scenes, I kind of had like 1 or 2 shots to get it right. So I had to spend like time in my head, like, oh my god, I need to get this right now. And then yeah, that was it. So anything emotional, we just didn't have the time to redo it. So I'm like, oh fudge, I've got to like put myself in a really dark mind space in the space of like 10 seconds and just do it. Yeah, it came out all right. I was happy with it. Yeah, I love my Tess. She's great. I'm sad she had everything happen to her, but like, she's cool. She ready to fight me juice.
Martin?
Independent filmmaking, limited budget or no budget, trying to put a centaur onto screen the easiest way possible. Have someone prepared to be the back end of a horse, which is what I went for originally.
That's a great idea.
So what went wrong was the guy who said, yeah, I'll be the back end of your horse, suddenly realised he had to be back in London early the following day, so therefore couldn't be with me overnight to be the back end of the horse. So therefore there was one end scene that would have shown the entire centaur that we had to cut. But more than that, it was just the effect of having the back end of a horse wandering around behind Peter Tilley, which, to be fair, is actually me going, this will be really good fun. But unfortunately, my back end let me down. And the only other difficult bit was with the crossbow, obviously making sure that health and safety, and whilst the actors were holding the crossbow, it was never loaded. If you look really closely, it was never loaded other than a couple of shots where we show it being fired. And that's just down to, I am not going to put a loaded crossbow in anybody's face.
Understandable.
So it's that. It's independent filmmaking. Love to be able to use CGI to create a proper centaur, but nah. Someone in the back end of a horse. That's what you want.
Sam, just to put you on, just to put you on the block a little tiny bit. Let's spin that. What is the scene that to you was your favourite scene?
Well, that's a curious one. I really like the tension scenes between them sitting at the table. It's just like, it's perfect chamber piece acting, where I had all the space in the world to be able to film because it was in the middle of the room. And yeah, like, it's the kind of film that you just want to watch good acting, and that's what that scene displays the best. There were loads of moments I enjoyed a lot. I mean, we were working literally 9 till 5 each day. We could not have the venue after 5 p.m. So we had to like fucking compress. But generally speaking, I mean, I loved most of it. That was the particular bit though, where I got to see who Cy was as Ed, and who I got to see Bella as Tess. The other moments, like I loved the music stuff we did. That was really groovy. The actual scenes that you see in Bella, that's all black drop in my kitchen. None of that was shot in the wedge rooms. So all those close-ups with the musician stuff, that's just being very, very tight on budget. But that was really cool to play with because, again, it was working back to the music videos I shot in the past and just having a bit of play with things that work, essentially. But yeah, my favorite scene is definitely the scene where they're around the table. I mean, the sound's a bit weak and stuff, but that's fucking indie films, you know, like that can be fixed and cleaned in the future. But to watch those two and their dynamic, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Keeley?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously your role's quite short compared to Annabella's. But what was your favourite moment in
I think
your performance?
at actually, I think it was the bit where I actually enter and come in looking for my husband, and the dialogue bit that I had with Bella I found really interesting, just because it was the fact that, you know, I was acting and not blubbing. So I think the crying bit for me, it was just crying, wasn't it? So the fact that I was actually acting when I came in there was...
Whoa! Shit.
Oh dear. Woo.
Hope nobody's
Smashing
hurt.
idea.
Yeah, that was my favourite bit. I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get to do the fight scene with Chris, because we were supposed to have a right bitch fight, weren't we, on the stage?
Wow.
And it was supposed to be professionally choreographed. But there was no time.
Yeah,
No,
it's just time.
Yeah,
We
I
also
forgot about
discussed
that
that. But that was the better way to do it.
It was better. Yeah, I think it ended up better about the fight.
For the budget and the amount of people we had, that was the best way to do it.
We did miss this fight scene though with
Yeah, damn.
my beautiful leather.
This feels a bit like cast and crew difference.
Well, thank you very much.
Wow.
For bringing
Thank
it
you.
to us. And yeah, we look forward to seeing what is next for all of you.
Are we allowed to talk about the trailers really quickly? Because there were some really cool trailers.
Mm.
You had The Baby in the Basket, and then you had Ross's film as well, which I cannot remember the name of, but that was like pretty awesome. Ross, what was the name of the film?
The Lost Drone.
I cannot hear you. Can you like
The Lost Drone.
The Lost Drone? They're like fucking awesome. Like wow. Yeah, so Baby in the Basket, which has got the Kickstarter at the moment, and then The Lost Drone, like awesome. Like I can't wait to see that in an independent film right now. So yay!
Stephen, Annabella, Martin, Sam, Keeley, thank you very much.
No, thank you.